Yo, yo. Hello. How is everybody? Irish Rover, our favorite roving Irishman is here. Lou, what's happening? AQI, you're back. Where were you? Good to see you. Dubwubs, what's up? Clinton. Hey Clinton, how you doing? River NorCal, how are you? Yeah, we're gonna watch some city council uh stuff tonight. This will probably only be about an hour-long live stream. Starla, the beautiful Starla is in here, and there's a great reason for it. Water Otter, hello. Yeah, smash that like button, y'all. So, Denver City Council meets tonight. They meet every Monday at 5 o'clock. And we've got a great lineup of speakers, I believe, tonight. Danny's Thoughts, how are you? Thanks for being in here, friend. Hey, shout out right now to Danny's Thoughts. This very kind individual made sure that Jerry, our buddy Jerry, had the pleasure of being gifted some nice new furniture. And I want to thank him tremendously. Danny, we have to do a video. I'm sorry. It's been kind of crazy. We've been over to Jerry's place a couple times. It looks fantastic. And it was well deserved, and he is just exceptionally grateful. He's really beyond words with how grateful he is. So thanks to Danny's Thoughts, an individual donor. Look, we can do these things, and it's because of people like you that show that people are worth a second chance, even. And Jerry's been doing wonderful for himself. He's all on track. He's enjoying being indoors. Number one, most importantly, he's taking care of his health. And that was a struggle for so long with Jerry. And for those of you that have been following me for a few years, you saw that we literally took Jerry off the streets after he had a heart attack on the street and put him in a hotel for a while. And because of all your generosity, we were able to keep him indoors so he could work on his health. Yeah, Razor, how are ya? You bet Jerry's smile is wider than the Colorado mountains. Plus, he gets great sleep now. Absolutely. Yeah, Water Otter. Jerry can heal and work on the things that he needs to work on and have a safe place. So, right now, Denver City Council is in recess. They will come back probably before 5. They've been having some interesting discussions. This is probably going to be a little boring to watch, but it's really not. So stick around because Destiny is providing public comment tonight from Mesa County in regards to how Denver literally stuck her dad in a motel and had no processes in check to even check on him. So she is number 6 speaker on the list tonight. Wow, we get a whopping 30 minutes here in the city and county of Denver to provide public comment to your esteemed city council members. Interestingly, last week, I really should have been broadcasting this last week, a lot of the other advocates held a rally downtown to really call out the mayor on following through with his promises on his House 1,000 People plan, and that sweeps were still continuing in cruel and inhumane ways. So long story short, they really pulled out a nice rally, and they had speakers sign up at the city council meeting. And of course, you only get 30 minutes total. So that's 10 speakers, 3 minutes each, if everything goes on schedule. But they literally cut public comment off at 5:30. So tonight, uh, Destiny should get an opportunity to talk, but she was signed up last week and she didn't get an opportunity. That takes a lot of planning because you've got to be prepared virtually. She's going to be providing her public comment virtually. So I'm really excited to hear what she has to say. And we're all here to support her and remember the details around Cowboy and that we're still seeking answers. Tomorrow, you should find me in Adams County at the county commissioners meeting. We will. Hey, thanks, Byron. Got to cook dinner? Yeah, hit that like button on the way out. Thanks a bunch. So last week's city council meeting got pretty exciting when a lot of the unhoused folks that wanted to talk didn't get an opportunity to talk, and they continued on with their public comment after the president had cleared the dais and ordered all of the city council members out, except three. Three city council members stayed back. So because it's public record, we've got a sign up list of speakers tonight. There are no topics on any of their that I can see. Speaker number 1 will be Karen, then Claire, then Cesar, then Kevin, then Jennifer, then Destiny. So yeah, this will be great. And we're going to just listen to public comment. I was watching the city council meeting before I started this. And there was some fascinating discussion around granting the Salvation Army their, I believe it was $4 million contract for one of the shelters that they run in the city, which is Crossroads. It's a men's shelter, and it's a disaster. Keeping the swine in line. Hey, good to see you. Danny's thoughts. I'm hauling grain to the elevator from the field today. Good old-fashioned hard labor. Hey, thanks, Clinton. For those of you that give a fuck, give a buck. The nonprofit link is in that description there. Under Linktree, there's ways to donate. Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. Thank you for that, Clinton. Starla, Destiny's a fast talker, so I'm sure she will speak her mind fast and get a lot in. I hope so. And I'm not going to be very happy if she doesn't get her opportunity to speak tonight. So I guess, yeah, City Council's going to stay on break until 5 p.m. And then when they come back on, we'll shift over and just watch that public comment. So back to the topic of Salvation Army. So Salvation Army was also responsible for overseeing what was going on with Cowboy. So they took a group of homeless individuals and stuffed them into a motel in downtown Denver on a contract during COVID, right? And when that contract was up and the hotel owners wanted their motels back, everybody got the boot. Well, they still had not done any case management for Cowboy through Salvation Army. Yeah, they claimed they had, but not a lot was done. So what ended up happening is the city and county of Denver took over and went and put some of those folks in a different motel, which happened to be outside of Denver. It was in Adams County, and we have had a horrible time dealing with the things that have gone on in Adams County. Trying to get answers around Cowboy's death investigation and answers from the coroner. So with that, I'm kind of just gonna let you know that we're pushing as much as we can on government, but really some help is needed. And if you have an opportunity and you yourself are curious, uh, it would be good if you would write to the Adams County commissioners. I'm going to pull that up right now and ask them why they continue to fund. I'm pulling that up. Why they continue to fund a coroner's office for salary increases when these people can't even answer questions, right? It's maddening. That's part of what I'm going to be asking tomorrow at public comment. But let's pull that up. Let's see if we can get that. Here we go. So the county commissioner that we've been writing to is Steve Odoricio, District 4. That's where this happened. Cowboy was put in a motel in his district, wrote to him, asked him if we could meet with him, Destiny and I, and he essentially, told us, yeah, we don't get involved in that. Well, yeah, you do, because it's your district and you're elected to represent the people. So here's Adams County government, and I'll probably be live streaming it tomorrow. But they do have a YouTube page where they have all their videos from their Board of County Commissioner public hearings. But back to this. This is the guy here. So if anybody feels compelled to redress government and ask them some questions on this, this is turned into a very aggravating situation. Yeah, starve the machine, River NorCal. I thought we'd have more city council to watch here, but I'm just going to kind of play with splitting my screen because I want to figure a couple things out. So just bear with me. I know this is boring. If you have any legitimate questions, put them in the chat. Start making government work for us again. And I hate going to these city council meetings and these county commissioner meetings. You are literally talking to a wall unless you bring a professional protester along. But by the name of Aurora Transparency, which we plan to do tomorrow. I think we're going to go together there. So if I want to share this and this, does that work? How do I do that? I got to figure out how to bring up several at a time so they're right here at my disposal. Ex Bootlicker, are you in here? Good to see you. Thanks for being in here. Slabby's not feeling too good today. Had to take her to the groomer and get a little hiney work done, if you will. Oh, they play this stuff on this city council channel, Lucky. Hey, Lucky 225, good to see you in here. Hey, I saw your post about the post board. I read that article probably just a couple hours prior to you posting that on your community tab page. Hey, if you haven't subbed to Lucky 225, please do so. This guy's doing great work down in Pueblo, exposing some bad dealings down there. So yeah, please sub to him if you haven't. Lucky 225. Oh, I didn't see you had a video. I just saw your community tab post. I guess I can only do one of these at a time. I can't remember how to get these in here. Does anybody off the top of your head here that's in the chat know how to bring up two tabs in the studio? Yeah, that undisciplined article is wild. So, hey, I've talked to people before about the post board. Every state has something like it, peace officer standards and trainings that are supposed to oversee cops being certified in states. Yeah, here in Colorado, we have one. And through the legislature and some bill making processes, there were some laws instituted about how cops were needing to be reported. So they couldn't jump from agency to agency for their literal crimes. And the post board, spent all this money and time developing this database. And lo and behold, it isn't working like it's supposed to, right? So yeah, that's what that's all about. But please, if you haven't subbed to him, Lucky225, go do that. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see if we got some good jam. No clue where these bands perform. Yeah, that post board database. Let's go find that. Everybody should do this in your own state as well. Yeah, check this out. So in here, there's supposed to be a database where you can, first of all, see if cops actually hold a certification. You can search them by name. Here's the database. Okay. So here states the law on the reporting requirements. Yeah, I hate bar graphs and charts and pies. They mean nothing. I want to see actual stuff. Actions by employing agency of all time. Who's the highest here? Denver Sheriff's Department with 40 from what, 78 to 2023. Verify a peace officer's certification status. Oh, let's look up Robert Crelly, that little troll that threw Aurora Transparency into the wall. See, and that's the other thing about this database not working, right? Right, Lucky225? So you know these cops exist, and then half the time you can't find them. I knew this about this database some time ago. Yeah, it's a joke. It's a freaking joke. And we finally got some press coverage on it, right? So how about that dumbass in Denver, John Shaw, that is currently being sued? Oh, there we have him. He's certified with the Denver Police Department still, of course, and has a job. Let's see what this says about him. No post actions. Yeah. So this guy is involved in a federal lawsuit right now. For civil rights violations. But in this article, in this article by the press the other day, Denver got asked why one of their cops, who was a trigger happy cop, I mean, this guy was a lunatic, and he ended up resigning, right? 225. And no, I definitely had the right spelling on his, but Denver got asked why they didn't report this particular cop. He'd been in all kinds of shit, and they forgot. They just forgot. That was classic. That was the best part of that damn article, right? I want to go find that. I want to go find the article itself. 225. What? Who was that wrote that? That published that article? Let's see if we can find that. And you know who was part of writing that article? Susan Green. You know about Susan Green? She was a reporter for the Denver Post. Here it is. And she was detained on Colfax, recording the police. She is a hell of a reporter. Yeah, here that is. I found it. Yeah, check this out. Undisciplined rogue cop still licensed to work despite government reforms. Colorado promised transparency around police misconduct, but is still not holding the most rogue cops publicly accountable. Yeah, by Susan Green here. So, yeah, you guys, if you haven't read this, you gotta read it. ColoradoNewsline.com. Denver police officer bragged to coworkers that he shot a carjacking suspect once in the head to kill him, then at least 16 times more to see his face fall apart. You guys, and guess what? This cop is District 4. He works with John Shaw, that guy that I just typed in. John Shaw was involved in this same exact shooting that they're citing. John Shaw is the cop that did a traffic stop on my husband and then cited him for blocking a lane of traffic. And my husband he went to court. Of course, cop shows up. The judge is like, all this evidence, what did you say this guy did? And the cop's like, oh, yeah, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, this same cop had used a little loophole in the system that had my husband's license suspended. Apparently, any peace officer in the state of Colorado can submit a retest to the Department of Motor Vehicles. And if you don't show up for your retest, your license is suspended. Well, lo and behold, imagine us not getting a letter that said you need to retest, which we didn't. My husband loses his driver's license. I mean, the load of dirty cops here is astounding. So this guy resigned in 22 while under investigation for what his supervisors deemed racist, homophobic, and grossly inappropriate comments about killing people while he was on duty. Yet the man, colleagues say, has zero regard for human life. He still has a clean disciplinary record with the Post Board, the state agency responsible for regulating the police. He isn't the only officer who is still certified, despite a documented pattern of alarming misconduct. And this goes on. This article is very long and thorough, and it's got a lot of good information in here. It talks about a lot of high-profile cases and how this Post Board just literally is doing nothing. And this is under the oversight of our elected Attorney General. Everybody keeps saying, go to the AG, turn everybody into the AG. This guy doesn't give a shit. But there's this, here, this is the best part of the article, the tip of the iceberg. Post relies on police and sheriff's departments to report the disciplinary actions they take against their officers. But our reporting identified several that haven't, and with impunity. Like, so nobody has to really do this. So now they're going to do, now we're going to ask the government, we got to make another law. Every time we need government to do something that we need government to do, it takes years to pass laws to get that done. But if they're going to pass laws to use force on us, boom, that could be done in a heartbeat. So the Denver Police Department is one of them. Mary Dulacki, who I used to have respect for, I no longer do. The woman is clearly filling a seat, keeping it warm, and collecting a hefty, hefty paycheck. Denver's department deputy safety director says the city forgot to inform Post that the Denver officer Shane Madrigal resigned while being investigated for his comments and actions around the 2021 shooting of carjacking suspect Cedric Vick. Post could withhold funding or impose fines on Denver and other departments for not reporting, but it's chosen not to. I mean, yeah, why would you rat on your buddy? You know, we're all in this together, right? I'm not going to rat out my buddy. Yeah, kind of crazy stuff. So anyway, we're a few minutes away from the start of this meeting. So let's get back to this meeting and see if it started. Not yet. Yeah, they should be coming on here any minute. Yeah, he'd be fired, and the guy would have never got that far. The guy should have never been hired, right? They're supposed to have all these psychological testing and all of this stuff that says they're a good fit or not. My channel's underrated. You saw me speak at Sheridan City Council and your words were moving. Well, thank you. Yeah, my channel's underrated because my goals on YouTube are not necessarily to grow my channel by changing my content. So I'm way too mouthy. So I don't get a lot of good algorithm action on YouTube. My videos get demonetized. I have to challenge every one of my videos where I'm cussing. So, of course, I don't get that much coverage, but it's okay. I'm still able to do my work. Let's go. Here we go. I got to figure out the sound now.
How to enable translation on their devices.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Alejandro Arrieta. I am one of two
Oh,
interpreters.
can you
for
hear
today, along
that?
with my colleague Sam. Thank you for your patience as I provide these instructions in Spanish.
Yes,
Hola a todos,
thank
mi nombre es
you,
Alejandro
Aisha.
Arrieta. Soy uno
Those
de
who
dos
need to know are
intérpretes. Estoy
here.
con mi colega Sam. Gracias por tenernos aquí. El día de
YouTube
hoy
jail
vamos a estar
sucks. Yeah,
interpretando
especially if
toda la
you're
reunión
trying to
al
make a living
español
on
y
it
del
or
español al
expand
inglés.
your
Si usted
message.
prefiere escuchar en español, después de
How do I make
estas
that louder?
instrucciones, vamos a aprender la interpretación y
Doggone
verá
it.
un icono terráqueo en la parte inferior a mano derecha en
I
su
don't know
pantalla.
how. I guess
Cuando aparezca,
because I'm
asegúrese de
streaming it
seleccionarlo para escoger el español como
through
su idioma
here. Is that
preferido.
why?
Si ha ingresado a la reunión usando un dispositivo
Ah,
móvil como una
doggone it.
tableta o un celular, podrá ver la opción de la interpretación en el menú con los tres puntitos
I've
que
got
dice
it
más.
maxed out
De
on the
todos
volume
modos, puede
they allow.
seleccionar y poner el audio original en silencio. Muchas
Well, this
gracias.
is going to
Thank you
suck
very
because
much.
we're not going to hear this.
Thank you, Alejandro. Welcome to the general public comment session of Monday, October 23rd. Beginning our regular meeting, council provides a half-hour general public comment session to hear from the public on city matters, except for one scheduled for a legally required public hearing. To maximize time for resident comment, council will not offer comments or responses. Council or staff may contact speakers following their comment if they raise matters that lend themselves to follow-up. For those participating in person, when called upon, please come to the podium. On the monitor on the wall, you'll see the time counting down. For those participating virtually, when called upon, please wait until our meeting host promotes you to speaker. When you are
I wonder if I
promoted,
do it
please
through my
accept the
computer and
promotion,
not
turn on
my.
your camera if you have one and your microphone. All speakers should begin their remarks by telling council your name, and you
Internet
have
this
3
evening.
minutes to speak. Please refrain from profane or obscene speech. Direct your comments to council as a whole, and refrain from individual or personal attacks, including disparaging other speakers' motives. Before we begin, I'll mention we do have a required public hearing on the budget for 2024. So if you were planning to comment during this session about the budget, I would encourage you just to pop next door and add your name to the comment list for the budget, so that we make sure that we get you in there. We will start with Karen Adkins in Chambers. Come on up, Karen.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. My name is Karen. I keep speaking and my voice is not being heard. Government is required by law to listen. I keep jumping through hoops. When is it my turn? When is it my turn? Tomorrow I'm supposed to go to the VA. I cannot go to the VA to get benefits. I don't have a stable address. I am in so much trouble. I can't get the food stamps. Nobody is listening. I am battling an insurance company. They are the defendant. I am the plaintiff. And they made a joke out of my service to this country, serving in the United States Navy. No one will listen, but I bet you'll listen to the insurance company, Liberty Mutual. When is it my turn?
Is that any better?
I cannot get an income because I have medical issues. My situation is so bad, I have to have surgery just so I can wear clothes. I cannot wear shoes. Can you imagine being a female and cannot wear clothes?
That's not any better.
I freeze to death. I'm having issues because the more I stand, the more I walk, the more I wind up in the hospital. I don't deserve this. I am in dire need. But I was on the phone with host in front of me. And one of my friends walked up. She's with Fox News, and she's a journalist. And we were talking with host, and whenever he wants to be mean to me, he shows up by himself. I find that very intimidating. As a female, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. You cannot enjoy anything. If I get a job working like I promised the candidates, like I spoke with in person Mayor Johnston, I want to be part of the solution. I ask, I beg, I plead as a United States Navy female disabled veteran in exchange for me helping out, maybe answer the phone, my motel expense, because host is stressing me out. They don't have the right to do that. That's not in their job description. But they want to send me to the VA and they want
Well,
to sign away my
doggone it.
rights and say that I do drugs and alcohol and
That is
cigarettes.
better?
I don't want to buy or pay for my own expenses.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. That's your time. Thank you for being here.
in that alley or there're gonna be problems.
Ismail,
Our next
hello.
speaker is Claire Saunier.
Hello, my name is Claire Senior. I have proudly lived, voted, and paid taxes in Denver for almost 12 years so far. I signed up to talk about access to water, which is one of our most basic human needs, and one that's easy to take for granted. And as we know, water is life. Every person on Earth deserves the water they need to live, from Denver to Flint, Michigan, to Palestine. As we speak, Israel, with the unconditional support of the US, from our local elected representatives to our state representatives to our governor to the president, has cut off all water access to 2.3 million people living in Gaza, an area about the size of Denver. They've also cut off food, electricity, and access to medical care completely. Half of the besieged civilians living in Gaza are children due to the ongoing ethnic cleansing project that began over 75 years ago. In Denver, by contrast, less than 20% of the population are children, and almost all of us have access to water. Israel is waging a genocide against Palestinians. Over 4,000 have died so far in the unprecedented bombing over the last 2 weeks, and over 1,400 of them were children so far. Our country, our state, and our city are complicit as our leaders now decide whether to send an additional $11 billion in military funding to Israel, on top of the $3.3 billion the US already sends each year. That's over 76.5 million from Coloradans, which is 11.5 million from Denverites last year alone. So Israel's genocide is a local issue. Palestine and its people need water, food, and medicine, and they need our solidarity. We should be spending our tax dollars on humanitarian aid to Gaza, not more bombs. I'd like to invite you all to join me in a moment of silence for all of the 2.3 million Gazans without access to water or the other basic needs many of us hold and take for granted.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. Could we just maybe get some toilets and
It is
water
past time for
here?
us as Denverites of conscience
Could we take
and
care of our
empathy
vets?
to stand with our Palestinian, Arab, and Muslim siblings here and around the world as we demand a ceasefire, an end to the US military and financial aid to Israel, and an end to Israel's apartheid, settler colonial occupation. Free Palestine. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Cesar Pulido. Is Cesar on Zoom?
No, I'm here, man.
Oh, there you are.
Hello, how y'all doing today? My name is Cesar Pulido. I'm the founder of the Give Back. I'm an organization looking to be a nonprofit eventually, if so. For the last 8-9 months, I've been up front in the building every Monday, cutting the homeless for probably like 8-9 months, and been partnering up with people from the city, the Inglewood, even all over Denver, houses, that mental health, cleaning, for people to get clean. And like I said, I've been doing it for a while now, and I have my own space, and I actually do the hygiene and all this other stuff, and have partnered up with other kinds of people that are not here today, and would like to work with every single one of y'all. It's something I brought to the mayor plenty of times with me and my partners, and he wasn't willing to. So we're going to break down and speak to all you councilmen to eventually, hopefully, work with every single one of y'all individually and every single one of y'all communities, as like I have been, to bring everything from services to how to get help to cleaning, which I say is the biggest thing for the homelessness. Now, the biggest problem is drugs. So for us to partners to have the access to get them cleaning, and for me to get them haircuts and everything else they might need, and the cleanliness to even housing eventually, I like to present myself to y'all in person, and my name and the Give Back, what my organization is, to hopefully work with every single one of y'all in every single district you guys are in. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Kevin Perkins.
Hi, I'm here to ask that you support the resolution in opposition to the Jewish National Fund coming to Denver next month. The JNF calls itself the Jewish National Fund when really they are the Israeli National Fund. And despite what Zionist lobbyists would have you believe, Israel does not represent Judaism. It represents settler colonialism. We must signify our city's unwillingness to host settler colonial organizations, and the JNF is integral to the settler colonialism the Palestinians are subjected to every day. The JNF engages in what is called greenwashing. Greenwashing, for those here who do not know, is when a body, be it state, NGO, or company, pretends to promote environmental policies while engaging, in fact, in harmful behaviors. Their website calls on you to help plant trees or donate to services in Israeli settlements, specifically along the West Bank, in the West Bank, and along the border of Gaza Strip. Let it be clear that all this is meant to do is funnel money to strengthen settlements that arose from displacement of indigenous Palestinians, to strengthen the Israeli state's ability to keep Palestinians forcibly evicted from their homes, and their ecological programs often just plant invasive species and remove native ones, degrading the environment, not benefiting it, hence the term greenwashing. They are pretending to be environmentally conscious when they are not. And I know that we've all seen over the past few weeks the news that has been coming from that part of the world. Many people choose to focus first on the fact that Hamas attacked a music festival and the kibbutzim that were along the Gaza Strip. And they use that as a reason to disavow any mention of what's happening to Palestinians now as retribution for that act. That is farcical behavior, quite frankly, to condemn the killing of one group of people, but then when a even larger mass murder happens in response to that as collective punishment against innocent Palestinians. And so I hope these points make it clear that what the JNF is doing here in Denver next month is not being a cultural event for Jewish Denverites, but a celebration of murder, displacement, and poverty while the Israeli state is committing mass murder in Gaza and intensifying its forced eviction of Palestinians in the West Bank. We as Denverites cannot support this, and we must voice our opposition to the presence of colonizers in our city. I'm going to wait the next 35 seconds out as a moment of silence out of respect for all the lives that have been lost and lives that are currently being terrorized by the Israeli violence.
Do these people ever stop to think that we should maybe be having more moments of silence for the atrocities our own government commits on our own people? Here, yeah, we're doomed. Schroeder, people just want a microphone. I don't know. Go hold a world peace rally outside
Thank you very much.
state capitol, maybe. I don't
Next
know.
speaker is Jennifer Burbank.
Good evening. Thank you for your time. I'm here because I am in a peculiar situation. I am a living, walking representative of the Denver homeless that is residing in one of your shelters run by a private organization and also funded by HUD and such, organizations as Medicaid and things like these. I am legally disabled. I have been waiting on a disability decision since March 2020 for a breast cancer diagnosis. I was made homeless by no fault of my own, and then the pandemic hit. So I was transferred to the Coalition for the Homeless Protective Action site. And then from there, I was pursued by the Volunteers of America to come live at their facility as a transitional program. I have been presented, in the last 2 years that I've been there, I have not been afforded the same services as other residents. I have had to make numerous fair housing appeals. I have had to get numerous doctor's notes for things that I know as a former risk manager are blatantly, not allowed. Things such as, revealing my disability status, things along these lines. Telling me I'm required to see their counselor. I'm not allowed to contact emergency services. I'm not allowed their help. And so now we're at a crossroads where they have asked to discharge me. Since they are some sort of loophole in the HUD system, there's no lease, so I'm not being evicted. There is no formal hearing process for me except for their particular appeal system, which also includes a member of the event that led to them asking me to be discharged. I am unclear because I have contacted numerous organizations who they get their funding from and see whether or not they are being, held to their standards as well. I know of branches of this organization that have been sued for instance, getting donations from the VOA and not, or I'm sorry, from Veterans Administration and not, administering it appropriately to the residents' needs. Things are not being done legitimately, and as of next Wednesday, I will be street homeless. I have an ESA, which is my cat. I have no family members. I have no support system. I have no money. I have nowhere to go. I am first or second on the waiting list for a residence by the Coalition for the Homeless. I am trying to transition into this new housing. I am not being afforded, again, the same rights as other residents have been because I am in a biased and hostile environment.
Thank you for being here.
Okay.
Thank you so much. That's your time. Our next speaker is Destiny Olson. Is Destiny on Zoom? Yes. Go ahead, Destiny.
Hi, my name is Destiny, and I want to share what is a very sad and tragic story in hopes of this type of tragedy never occurring again for any person living homeless or their families. My father lived in chronic homelessness, mostly in Denver, after being criminalized out of Inglewood. His name is Steve Olson, and he was more commonly known as Cowboy to his friends. He was constantly swept from place to place in Southwest Denver, always told to move along and that he was not welcome wherever he was. My father couldn't have been a better neighbor to those who labeled him as unwelcome in our society. He was a very kind and cooperative man, always trying to find ways to help be a part of a neighborly society. Long, painful story short, my dad is no longer with us. He passed away suddenly and unexpectedly in a motel room at 58th and I-25 in Adams County back in June. He was placed here by your program in Denver. You stepped him away after not being able to connect him to any type of housing through the Aloft Motel. I realize there were other service providers involved. However, no one had any checks and balances in place to simply ensure he was safe and alive. My dad was found dead in his room after 2 days, and only because his neighbors in the motel were complaining of the smell. This is still devastating and heart-wrenching to realize that my dad had a better support system of friends out on the street that likely would have been there to help. This is truly just wrong. To make matters worse, to this day, I still have no logical answers from Adams County Coroner or Sheriff's Office. Instead, I have been met with silence, attitude, and being perceived as an inconvenience to deal with. I suppose it has something to do with the common theme of he was just a man living homeless, nobody cares, and we can brush his death under the rug. The amount of hate bestowed upon those who live homeless is broadly astoundingly sad and disappointing. None of this has anything to do with this supposed civilized society we live in. I would implore you to do better, Denver. With your hundreds of millions of dollars earmarked to end homelessness, the outcome for my father was unacceptable. I do not want anyone else having to deal with this amount of grief and devastation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker in chambers is Chris Rollerson.
Good evening, Council President and the rest of you. And I don't all know all of your names yet because some of you are so new. My name is Chris Rollerson, and I'm representing the out-of-school time providers here in Denver. And really, this whole week is Lights On After School Week, so we're just like really highlighting that and wanting to thank you guys for your support of all of us that are providing those vital services. I know year, and in your selections, I'm just asking you guys to just remember the kids that do need a safe place to go after school. For some of them, we are the only place for them so their parents can hold down sustainable jobs. So just wanted to come out here and say, hey, I'm the face behind an organization. I'm celebrating my 25th year serving in the Sun Valley community, running after school programming and out of school time. So just thank you to all of you, and hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your celebration that's coming your way this evening. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
Our next speaker is Ashley Garrett.
Let's see. So I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out what it is.
This is
that
my Ashley.
Our world really, really, truly needs.
This is
And
my
to
Ashley.
be honest, it's our system. There's no amount of
Listen
money that
to
is
her.
going to solve homelessness, because it is that fact that money is what keeps people homeless, or the lack of money. Yeah, our system really needs to change. Like, we really need to focus on our government and how they need to have one priority, and that is to make sure that our system can serve the people and the land properly. We can't, if you wanted to listen to God about the whole entire wars, all of them, God told me the only weapon that we are allowed to use is a spear and a shield. Why are we still bombing parts of this planet that's causing a ripple effect? Did we not just pay attention onto the news about the 20,000 people's lives that we just lost due to the earthquake and the flood alone? And now we're gonna have some more bombings going off, or for whatever reason. You know, I don't know what it is. I don't really wanna know. I just want it to stop. God needs it to stop. And the only way that's gonna happen is if we can find the common ground, which is this planet that carries us all. And we need to care for it a little bit more, and each person. I just want to say I'm sorry to the people that have been so devoted to working and bringing life to their families, and just for it to have turned out the way that it is, because it's not what it should be, and people should be having more in their life, because it's the top dogs that I'm talking to right now that really need to show the support, because I know nobody wants to have anybody in their home, but I'm going to tell you, when I had my camper, I didn't know everybody's names that was coming in there, but if it was snowing and it was cold, I let them come in. And I'm not asking people to do that, but I am asking for people, if you have, you know, people like our landlords right now, like, we could be putting our money to fixing our properties, our land, our sidewalks, rather than having to have our mayor and our city pull out all of the money that they can to put up new places, which we already know how people treat the transitional houses. It's not very good. People don't care about it because it's just temporary, so they're just waiting for their next move. And we need something permanent, because that's what's keeping people so, I don't know, disrespectful or lost. I'm like, there's a lot of those kids that was on the street that was coming into my camper that didn't want to go to the Urban Peak shelter. And actually, my camper burned down right after I found this location. I actually tried reaching out to Mayor Hancock before he was done with being a mayor. And I told him 1536 South Tacoma Street. That is an inactive church. I used to go there and write and charge my phone, and then one day something just told me to go look through the window, and it's a little bit bigger than what our mayor is wanting to provide for the homeless. It's got a bathroom, it's got a little kitchenette, and it's super small. Like I said, it's just a little bit bigger, but.
Thank you so much. That's your time. We've got a lot more folks than room in this building, so we're opening up overflow in room 432. But if folks can find a seat somewhere, there's still some room in the front row up here. There's some room on this side of the building here, just so we can make sure to keep that back way clear for access. Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Robert Bailey.
Me here today. I would like to talk about a business meeting from Wednesday, October 11th, approximately 2 weeks ago. Mike Nakornketz, the chief financial officer for that airport, Mike Nakornketz, he shows up to this chamber to refinance $800 million in old debt from 2012 and 2013. The largest airport facility in the United States of America opened in 1995, 28 years ago, and they do not have $800 million to pay off old debt. Somehow they managed to have more than $500 million per year to give to Chase Bank and all the other banks money from the people, but they do not have $800 million to pay off old debt. Mike, I would say that you are incompetent, but you are not incompetent. You are very competent at what you want to do. This is the problem. What you want to do, we call this financialism. Financialism is the pursuit of more finance, always looking for another layer of finance, another layer of leech. Mike loves financialism. Mike has no fight for the people's money. We call this treason, Mike, treason. I would normally call Mike's behavior not smart, but it's not smart. Smart or not smart would be based on my idea that the financial employees for this city, that they would focus on what's best for the citizens of this city. Mike, I read your resume. I see that in the past you worked for United Airlines. Mike, you no longer work for United Airlines. You now work for the people. Mike, you should figure this out. The sooner the better. And when you do figure this out, you will charge United Airlines and all the other airlines at that airport a lot more money so that we can get out of debt. United Airlines has 46% of the traffic at that airport. We, the city of Denver, we have too many eggs in one basket. There are two ways to deal with this problem: give in and give up, to just continue to cheat the citizens of Denver and Metro Denver, or we do what's right for the citizens and we address the Wall Street corporations at that airport and we fight for every single penny. Not smart is not the best way to describe Mike's behavior. Immoral and wrong because it is selfish and self-serving at the expense of the citizens of Denver and Metro Denver. This would be the very best way to describe Mike's behavior. Mike, you're all about resume building and racking up ever larger financial scores of debt. I am tired of seeing employees of this city working to build their resumes so that they can go make more money somewhere else. Is Denver, Colorado just a stepping stone for these employees to step on? Mike, I would further describe your behavior as negligent, bordering on theft and fraudulent activity. City of Denver, if you think that this financialism is good for the city, you may want to look around. The homeless encampments are just the tip of the iceberg, and most of the iceberg is underwater. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we'll be able to squeeze in one more speaker before
we
end.
cut
We
you
go
off.
on Zoom to Brandy Majors.
You guys, that guy, he he talks often and he is so good.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me? All right, great. I'm gonna be very quick. I'm trying to talk fast. Rest in peace, Cowboy. It's very, very, very disheartening to know that that was my brother. He not only moved me, he built tents for me. He helped me on and off the street like for 5 years consecutively. It is almost take it off me. It is almost a very, very serious tragedy that happened that we're just barely hearing about over here 5 months later. Not to mention, isn't the Aloft the same place where all the men were protesting about how they couldn't go to work and school and maintain because nobody gave them notice? And they had to move out. They just had to move out, right? And it's another thing is when somebody dies in their hotel room, I have to be there for 2 days and not be found. That's ridiculous. And you're right. He did have more brothers and sisters and friends outside in the street that would have never let that happen. So rest in peace to my brother. 5 years consecutively. I know him well. Now I'm gonna be really brief. I'm just gonna try to give you the business real quick. All right, check it out. Let me see. A major purge needs to happen from host, star, housing stability, public health. All of you need to be fired, 10 people up above you, 10 people below need to be fired immediately. A lot of these people come from the old administration. They need to be fired. They're not doing a service. In fact, they're just doing a lot of passing the buck, okay, to the next person with a flyer. They're not even helping the people. The double tree proposal, I think everybody should vote no. One is incredibly expensive, 83,000 a month for a master lease from November 1st to January 31st of 25. Sounds shady practices that are ongoing. Two, planning on housing 1,000 people in new tiny homes in a location is a quick move to take the heat and pressure off of his 1,000 house by January thing. Okay, that's not freeing any it's not helping anything. It's not fixing anything. It's burdening the area with more people, pacifying your paymasters. It is it's I can't read. And let me see. This is really not helping, basically. Okay, it's just like a band-aid. I'm glad that the sleeping units were postponed. That's another thing. It's temporary. It's temporary, and it's very temporary. It's like 30 to 90 days, and then you kick these people back out in the street. It's not leading to permanency. And how are you going to house 1,000 people to the point where we got almost 13,000 new migrants? They factor into the unhoused population. The hole he's digging for the city is ridiculous.
Thank you.
Yes, I
Brett.
understand. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes general public comment session. Our next will be next Monday, October 30th. Sign up begins at 11 a.m. on Friday, October 27th. And we look forward to hearing folks again. Thank you for attending. And we will immediately start the Denver City Council meeting. Council will now reconvene from our earlier session. There is no unfinished business. There are two proclamations being read tonight. Councilwoman Romero Campbell, will you please read Proclamation 23-1512?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Oh, wait a minute, can I call them in? Yes, they're outside, hold on. 1 second. Come in. Okay, she's got 'em. Put it on.
Come on to the front. Folks, can we clear the front row just momentarily for the proclamations, and then we'll welcome you back up when we're ready for the hearing. Ah.
There, like that? There you go. I can do that.
Okay, well,
Welcome,
I
everyone.
think
Thank you for coming.
that's pretty much all
We
we're
have a little bit more room
gonna
on
watch.
this bench over here as well, to the right
I turned the volume down on that meeting.
and to the left.
Can you hear me? I'm still experimenting with my technology here.
Okay. Come on in over here.
Can you guys hear me?
Councilwoman Romero Campbell, please go ahead.
Thank you, Council President. This is proclamation number 23-1512, a proclamation
You can hear me.
celebrating
Okay, good. So you
Denver
don't hear the meeting
after-school
right now, right?
programs and the 2023 annual National Lights On After School Day.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this
Whereas-
proclamation is.
This is for all of you.
It's
Whereas the
uneventful
Denver City Council
to me.
stands firmly committed to quality
Use your
after-school
children
programs
as
that
little
serve
political
Denver's
pawns
youth.
for teachers
In
unions. I'm over it.
particular, the Denver City Council
So,
specifically supports year-round comprehensive out-of-school time programs that encompass before and after
You can
school,
still hear both?
school breaks, and the
You can hear the
summer
meeting? Okay, let me
because
stop
they
it. Okay, is that better? I'm just kind of experimenting through. I don't know if the sound comes through my headphones through the stream, if I take my headphones off, if it's just my computer and I can control it better that way. Yeah, got to pull on those heartstrings. We need more money for teachers. Our poor, poor teachers work less than half a year and get paid for a full year, have benefits out the ass, and a lifetime of retirement for after 20 years. And it's never enough. And we need more tax dollars, and we need more union presence. And yeah, sick of it. Wow, that was a very powerful meeting, you guys. And Destiny, if you're watching, which you're not, I know you're super busy right now. Starla, I hope, yeah, what a doll. I've told you before, Mom, wow. That's one fantastic little lady you got there. And it's been heart-wrenching to work through this stuff because we're never going to get the truth. And that's the truth. And so we're going to go tomorrow to Adams County. I am. And I'm going to say that Destiny tried to submit some written comments to the Board of County Commissioners today over in Adams County. She followed up with an email. They said that they didn't get them. So I hope she's going to resend those. I'm going to work with her in just a little bit and talk to her about tomorrow because she can't be here. She's 4 hours away. She has a full-time job. She's a wonderful mother to a beautiful little firecracker named Tinley. Oh, that baby, she's so sweet. So, Fab Daddy, being a teacher sucks. Increase class sizes and expect better results. Well, we might have to have a debate on that someday. Come here, Slabby. Slabby's desperately wanting to go outside. But I still love you, Fab Daddy, and we can certainly agree to disagree on some things, but until the teachers' unions are bye-bye, I can't get behind the teaching profession in the public school system. I just can't do it. So, come here, come say hi. You want to come say hi? She doesn't like my new fancy chair. She slides around in it. Amanda's also a teacher. I know. Okay. I opened up a can of worms there, but you guys, my activism did start in the public school system. And were there some good teachers that my kids had? Abso-freaking-lutely. And a lot of them left to go teach at charter schools. And several of them during COVID started their own businesses, teaching children at home, homeschooling. What a concept. You can get more one-on-one education, and you can actually be invested in your child's education. You're still forced to pay taxes because, heaven forbid, we have a voucher system that allows parents to choose where they want to get their children's education. But hey, yeah. Only thing worse than a tyrant teacher is a doctor. Jack off, I would say the teachers union and the law enforcement union, the FOP, and the teachers union, I think, are this responsible for mass destruction in the United States of America. Are there bad doctors? Yeah, there are. So at any rate, what a fantastic public comment session. You heard from Ashley? Yeah, Ashley got herself off the streets. Ashley had a baby and finally came to her senses that she can't raise a child on the street. I'm so super proud of that young lady. And she goes to a lot of speaking engagements. And the fact that she's there and speaking, number one, that's all I care about because that means she's got purpose in her life outside of being on the streets. Not that Ashley wasn't the giver out on the streets, because she was. She's got a very soft spot for the younger population, the teens, the kids getting dumped out of the foster system, literally onto the streets. And Ashley would open up her camper to anyone. And I helped her during sweeps. And yeah, unfortunately, she had a pretty massive explosion in her pop-up camper, and no one was hurt, luckily. I don't know how they all were able to get out of that camper uninjured, but they did. And a lot of lessons learned from that. But she's a great gal, and she continues to be housed. So yay. And then Brandy, it's quite a network of people out on the streets. They pretty much all know each other. And that's the truth, especially outside of downtown. Those folks that have been living in chronic homelessness for years, they all know each other well. And they matter. They really matter to me. Brandy, you matter to me. I don't know if you're watching my live stream or listening anymore. I think she got mad at me. I hope not. Brandy. We were Facebook friends, and you ripped me a new one. Unjustifiably, ma'am. But I'm still here. Okay. And yeah, to hear from those three ladies, thank you very much. Denver City Council meetings are interesting. They are. They're usually pretty active. I think, yeah, more so since Johnston has gotten elected. Here she is. You want to say hi? Here she is. Puppy of the hour. It's Slabby. Can you say hi to everybody, Slabby? Give kisses. Yes, everybody gets kisses from Slabby. Everybody gets kisses from Slabby. Liberty Blair. Hey, thanks for popping in. We were just watching the city council meeting. Oops, sorry. Destiny provided public comment from 4 hours away to the Denver City Council meeting because they have an online option to be able to do that. She gave a very compelling and moving 3-minute delivery of how Denver got it wrong big time with Cowboy and stuffed him away in a motel where he was found dead after 2 days. And the only reason he was found dead was because the neighbors were complaining of the smell. That whole thing has been exceptionally polarizing and very sad. And it's kind of hard to move past. It really is. Here's Cowboy. I'm waiting for his ashes. I'm having a special necklace made to swirl him in glass, but Destiny was kind enough to share her father with me, and he'll be close to me as well as will Jesse. So, yeah. Give me Liberty or give me Slabby. She's a sweet pup. Well, you guys, maybe time to end this. Everyone's in the middle of dinner, or I need to be. I probably should be. Thank you very much for being here and supporting Destiny. Destiny, you did a fantastic job. And hopefully tomorrow you will see me over at the Adams County Board of County Commissioners meeting for public comment. I have to drive a very long way in rush hour traffic early in the morning, and hopefully I feel well enough to do that. Tammy Houston, my girlfriend. Hey, thanks for popping in. I always stream from jail. I'm always in some sort of jail. King Charles, thank you. I appreciate hearing that. Rhonda, thank you. Again, ways to donate are in the About section of my channel. If you feel compelled to wait and give through actual items, in-kind donations as we house people, you can feel free to do that. But yeah, Phyllis, thank you very much. You guys, thank you. Ex-Bootlicker, good to see all you guys. And we'll catch you tomorrow, right, at the Adams County Board of County Commissioners meeting. So, take care.